You want to do the intro?
You can do your little all things Yani, and then you say, and then I'll step in, intercede.
Okay, no. Let's start over. Hey guys, welcome back to another vlog. Thank you for tuning in and clicking on this video. Oh my gosh.
What? You gotta have some light to. Let me do this.
Welcome to All Things Yani.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video of All Things Yani. Today I have myself here, along with
Yanill.hicks.
Oh, yeah, I know your name.
They don't know my name. Not everybody.
Oh, well now they do.
If you don't know, now you know.
Homie.
Yeah.
You gotta keep it.
Family.
Yeah. So today, the wait is over.
Nah, it wasn't today. It happened like a couple weeks ago. But
okay.
The wait is over. If you do not know what the wait is, if you are new to this channel, I would understand why. But the wait was basically our decision to delay sexual gratification until marriage.
Bow, bow. Bow.
Bow.
Okay.
So long before this decision, how do I start? I guess I can
at the beginning.
Yeah, I guess I can start off by saying that long before Jake and I started dating, I had made a decision that when I met the person that I was going to choose to date, that I would be very intentional about it. And one of my decisions with that would have been to choose not to have sex until marriage. So it's a commitment that I made to myself, and gracefully, you know, through the strength of God and prayers and support and effective communication, I was able to do that. And around that time, Jake and I started dating. We were communicating very consistently, and I was very open and transparent, like, hey, you know, like, I have decided that I do not want to have sex until marriage. I have my reasons, in which we'll go into a little bit later, but I made that very clear to him. And I told him, like, you know, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. I'm not here for, you know, just having sex or flinging around. So he understood that very early on, and he decided to join me along the process. So maybe you can tell them a little bit about why you chose to join me and why that wasn't like, why that didn't steer you away from continuing to pursue me.
It steered me away because I ain't never scared.
Okay.
No, I think the wait was a good challenge because it was something different, something that we as millennials are not used to. I mean, if we get involved with somebody, you know, we just do the do.
I think it's a natural gratification. Like, people, it's all over the place, right? It's on the media, it's in music, it's so vulgar, like, it's everywhere. Even in the younger generations, like, it's presented in school, like, it's everywhere. Literally, like, if you live in America or anywhere across the world, you're gonna be, like, introduced to sex at a young age. And I think that it's our responsibility to be aware and educated on the options that we do have. So, which brings me to another point, that I've gotten questions like, oh, well, why did you decide to share your decision to wait until marriage to have sex? And honestly, my straightforward answer is, I feel like I should have learned about this when I was a young girl. I never was told don't have sex. I was never told, you know, sex until marriage is something that God has desires for you. Like, his desire for you is to wait until marriage to have sex and to become one with your partner. So,
but see, I was taught that.
See, I wasn't.
I was taught that, but I also went against the grain. Because it was taught, like, you know, you don't need to just be laying down with anybody. You know, just need to give up yourself. Blah, 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 because that's what I heard. But then I also figured out that, like, later, as I got older, like, it really wasn't worth it to be sleeping here, sleeping there.
Yeah.
With whoever. especially if I didn't plan on making a life with them.
Right.
Because it didn't make sense looking back. And then now, since I decided to wait, and it was with somebody I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, there was long-term gratification. Correct. And I didn't need the instantaneous.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that for me, like, I wasn't told like, oh yeah, go have sex freely and do as you please. Like, that wasn't what I was taught. I was basically taught like, hey, there's gonna be men who are gonna tell you whatever you want to hear to get in between your legs. Or the moment you let someone kiss on your neck, like they're gonna, you know, work their way down. I was taught those kind of things. And I was also taught like, if you do decide to make this decision and have sex with your boyfriend at the time or whatever may have you, is like, make sure you're protected. Or those conversations did happen, but it was never like, you know, you should save yourself for marriage. Your body was only created to be enjoyed with one other person. Like, that kind of thing was not something that was instilled in me or anchored at an early age, like, at all. I learned that along the process of like dating, along the process of being hurt, along the process of reading and soul searching, and actually having a foundation in a relationship with God. And so that leads us to the next thing, where it's like, you know, we started talking. I told him where I was. He's like, bet, I'm with you, I'm here, like, I'm down, let's do it. And I was just like, all right, sounds good. And then you know, eventually we started dating more. And we started spending a lot of time together and started traveling together and stuff. So I thought that those things, a lot of places, babe. We went a lot of places. We went to New York. You flew me out to Dallas. We went to Orlando. We went to Tampa. We went to Miami. We went to Hollywood. We went all over Florida, really. Washington, Virginia. Like, we've been to a lot of places in the time period that we have dated. I mean, that we have been together. But I say that to say, like, in those times, I thought that the temptations would arise, and because I had made that decision, like, maybe some months prior to dating Jake, is like, I was like in a very early stages of making that decision. And because he had just joined me on that decision, it was just like, all right, we're gonna put this out here and see like how strong are we and how solid are we with our decision. Fortunately, we were able to overcome it and able to just sustain it and fight through the temptations. Because I mean, if we're real though, like, you're not gonna stop getting physically aroused. Like, you are gonna want to do things and you're gonna want to go against the grain. You're gonna want to play with fire, but then you have to know, like, when I'm weak, you're strong, and when you're weak, I'm strong. So that's kind of like what we use as a defense mechanism and as tactics to be able to like fight through the temptation. What helped us get through the time frame that we went without having sex up until the point of us getting married, I think, was like really being open and transparent about what our weaknesses were, or even the foundations of like the boundaries that we had prior to us living together and prior to us you know, leading us into getting married. Even past the engagement, it was just like, I would get a lot of questions like, all right, so now that you guys are engaged, like, are you still gonna wait until you guys actually married? I'm like, yeah, like, that was always the plan. So I guess what helped you, or how did I help you, or how did you kind of ground yourself in the decision that you made as far as waiting to have sex?
Not effing up. Meaning that, like, okay, this is something that you wanted, and something that you were open to me being a part of. And I think I really sat down with myself before we started dating and realized that the next person that I was going to be with was going to be my wife. Yeah. And that long-term wise, I would be anchored, shout out to Mike Todd, in my decision making, and really having my footsteps ordered and making sure that, like, okay, this is what you need to do in order to have this gratification long-term. And really understanding that, like, okay, this is what I'm gonna have to deal with, or what I'm open to having, because I know that was something that you wanted. And a happy wife, happy life.
Okay. But I would say that one of the things that we did together early on, when we did talk about it, and like after the first time that we reunited, was when we decided to read the book The Wait together.
Who's The Wait by?
Megan Good.
And?
Oh my God. Megan Good. And I'm trying to remember.
Don't worry, babe, I got you. Devin Franklin.
Yes. I said I'm trying to remember. I was thinking.
I got you. Remember when you're weak, I'm strong? Okay. That was a strong moment.
All right. So.
Dang. I was just trying to help out.
We read the book The Wait by Devin Franklin and Megan Good, and we read the book together. Now, we were living in different states at the time, but we would always read a chapter, reflect on it, and just dialogue about the book and see what our takeaway was from it. And I think that was a very strong start because it kind of painted the picture. It reassured me of what I was signing up, what I was signing myself up for, but then it also brought you along the journey and was like, all right, this is what this looks like. And these are the expectations, and this is where I need to be solid. Like, I need to be kind of like sure, kind of giving you the reassurance of what you had already decided to join me on. You know what I'm saying? Like, the book was very, very transparent, very open about what the expectations are leading you to not having sex until marriage. And shout out to Megan Good and Devin Franklin because they definitely practice the wait. So their stories in that book, definitely recommend it if you are interested. Or
Didn't Sierra and Russell
Wilson.
Oh, no.
He messed up his whole name.
No, Russell Westbrook's the basketball player.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, the football player.
Yeah, they also practice the wait. They don't share their story as much, but it's definitely out there if you guys want to look into that. They waited to have sex until marriage, which is dope. Even people like that on a bigger platform is like, it's pretty inspiring because the industry that you live in and like the influence that you have around you is very important. And quite honestly, I don't think we have anyone around us that's really practicing the way. I think that,
well, they might be practicing but did it
right. I do know, yeah, you're right. So I do know, I actually have a couple, two friends that attempted to practice the way, and you know, for one reason or another, they either allowed temptation to lead them astray, or they just decided that the wait was not something that they really wanted to practice. And what I find too is that some couples or some women or some men in relationship have already started having sex, whereas once the woman or the man is introduced to the wait, it's like, dang, we've already had sex and the bonds are so much tighter and the soul ties are already formed that it's a lot harder to break those bonds and to get that person on the same track as you are, because at the end of the day, I think it's more of a faith-based practice. Like, you have to have a foundational belief in some spiritual form to, I feel like what led me to being successful was my relationship with God, the prayers, and yeah. So I think that is very important to have accountability, and we found those accountabilities through books and through conversations and through people I was able to connect with through social media. Like, a lot of people have reached out to me, and a lot of people are like, you know, I've been wanting to do this, but how do you do it? And so me sharing those stories was another lift me upper, kind of like, it really inspired me.
Like that, lift me upper.
It really inspired me to really keep going. Like, okay, you got this, you made it through the first year, like, keep going. Like, don't get like, yeah, things are gonna get harder, you're gonna still be tempted. And at that point we were living together, so it was like the daily temptations. But quite honestly, like, if we're transparent, over time it got easier. I feel like it's the discipline and the obedience that really gives you the gifts of being able to be in, like, no, I'm not giving into what my flesh is desiring. I'm not gonna feed off of my physical desires and allow my mind to just, you know, go with that. Like, it's easier as you progress throughout the wait process. And yeah.
So let me ask you this, right? So obviously you introduced me to the wait and the book, and I was like, all right, cool. Now, the wait was something that you attempted before.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there, things change. What was the difference between the wait then, you practicing the wait then, and then you practicing the wait with me?
So I think that the difference is, like I was saying, like, once you have crossed certain boundaries. For me, I had been in a relationship for a very long time. And in that relationship, we were already sexually active, right? I'm just put that out there. So because we were already sexually active, what we would do is like going through increments of practicing like fasting. And so honestly, like I would cheat myself into the fast, because it's like, if it's a 21-day fast, all right, bet we can't have sex for 21 days, cool. But once those 21 days were up, it's like I'm up and at it again. So it's like, it was like almost like a mindset and the training of your own thoughts of like, this is what I'm signing up for, this is what I want, but this is what I'm like dedicated to. This is the obedience that comes with it, and I just have to be able to be like committed, truly. It's a discipline form, it's the mindset, it's everything, honestly. And I think that it also comes down to having a partner that is really like, I'm down with this and we're gonna stick with it. And it's having the accountability with your partner. Because if I'm weak and at 21 days of fast being over, it's like, all right, bet. Like after these 21 days, you're already in your mind tricking yourself to think like, once these 21 days are up, like it's on. Like we about to get it in, you know? Whereas if after making that decision together, it's like, okay, these 21 days are up, let's do another 21 days. Or instead of 21 days, let's do 3 months. You know, like it's the mindset behind being able to stay committed and just grounded. And again, I think that it gets harder when you've already crossed those boundaries with that person. And the accountability piece, I mean, I think it all kind of intertwines and it works together. But at the same time, it's just like, what do you do when only you are willing to give in?
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're willing to give in, you're not in it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You're in it for the gratification, the instantaneous gratification, which we're famous for, millennial generation.
For yeah.
So I think in all, the wait is an awesome foundation for somebody that you want to spend the rest of your life with.
For sure.
I think that it's like a house. You can't build a house without a strong core. And I think it helps you learn your partner in more ways than getting inside of them.
Right. And so I'm gonna leave you guys with this last tip, but I was reading this book. It's called The Wound. I'm gonna link it in the description box below because I can't remember the exact name of it. But basically it talks about how every time a man inserts his penis into a woman's vagina, he inserts his funky energies, meaning whoever he's had sex with, you're having sex with, and vice versa. If he comes with unintention, like he doesn't come with the intention of being with you long term and pursuing you, he's exerting those energies onto you, and in translation, it becomes a part of you. So if you guys have any more questions regarding the wait, we will be doing a part 2 on this video. So make sure you leave those in the description box, in the comment section below. Make sure you leave those questions. I have some more questions that I want to address, but I will put that in a separate video. So make sure you are subscribed, hit the like button down below, and we will catch y'all next time.